Thanks for coming in. We got a banger today. We got Prophet, the man, the myth, the legend. You might have caught him yesterday, I think it was, on Thread Guy. We got front ran by a little bit, but we got him here today. I made a little scheduling error, so he's showing up on his phone. We appreciate him working with us. But, man, interesting stuff to talk about. We had a conversation about futarchy earlier this week with the ZC team, and it's a really interesting concept. I was reading this tweet from Prophet earlier, actually, which I wanted to dig into, and we'll dig into with him. He's actually in the waiting room here. But I'll show you guys here as we kind of let you funnel in. He says, honestly, I want to scrub the site plus docs with the word futarchy. Product has evolved, so should the terminology. Launch an ownership coin is much more compelling than much more of a compelling pitch than launch a futarchy to most people who aren't governance nerds. So I think that's really interesting because I feel like this futarchy meta, as at least until recently, I wasn't even familiar with largely. And so to kind of see it start to take form and Prophet post something like this, basically saying, hey, I kind of want to change the verbiage around it because it's evolved a little bit, is really interesting to me. And so we'll have him literally give his take here in a second. But let me share this out. This is a really interesting conversation. Meta has been popping off recently. They had some really good ICOs coming out on their platform. Ansem tweeted about it. So it's just a really interesting time to have this conversation. So let me give it a couple of minutes. We're going to let people funnel in, and Prophet is here with us, and we'll pull him up in a sec. So Chill, if you want to talk a little bit while I send this out.
Yeah, sure. So we have, I think there are a lot of questions around just futarchy, just around this evolution that Prophet is talking about here. So there's a lot that we want to dig into today. I'm really, really excited for this conversation. Honestly, I first got introduced to MetaDAO. I believe it was shortly after its launch, but again, had no idea what futarchy was before this, and glad that in classic crypto in classic crypto fashion, we're on the bleeding edge of innovation. So we kind of get the first we get the first ideas, but then we also see those ideas change over time, and we're now seeing a classic example of that. Do we want to pull up Prophet now, or do we want to just give it a few more minutes?
Yeah, this is it's all recorded. It'll be on YouTube. So if you guys didn't catch the start, you can go and watch back on YouTube or on Twitter here. But let's just pull up Prophet now and kick this thing off. Prophet,
Boom.
are you with us, brother?
Yep. Can you hear me?
We sure can. Thanks for coming on. And again, I apologize for I double booked for those who don't know, I double booked Prophet for the 10th with our tomorrow's call, but he's working with us. So we appreciate you coming on, brother.
Yeah, no worries. And thanks so much for having me on.
I've been following you for a while. You're pretty prolific in the space, and I think you have a lot of interesting, unique, and cool ideas. So it's awesome to get to talk to you here. Were you on Thread Guy yesterday? Did I see that correctly?
Yes, I was. And for those who saw, yeah, I wore my mask, which was fun. First time.
Oh, that was the first time wearing the mask.
Well, I'd worn it before at like Breakpoint and stuff, but never on like a podcast. I
Got
probably
you.
would have worn it today if I was in my office right now, but yeah.
Got you. Well, we'll have to get you back on in full mask form one of these days.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of Breakpoint, are you doing Breakpoint in Abu Dhabi here coming up in December?
I still haven't booked it. It's just I don't really want to go to Abu Dhabi. It doesn't sound like a good time, especially on December 15th. But yeah, probably yes. What about you?
We're gonna definitely go with the Meteora squad for Met Dhabi. Obviously, it's all surrounding that Breakpoint, so we might bounce over to Breakpoint too in the following days. But like you said, bro, it's getting close to that Christmas time, and but if I'm flying over to Dubai from the States here, it's expensive in a 14 and a half hour flight, so I might as well kind of make the full experience out of it. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I guess we'll kick it off just with this tweet here. You were kind of, I think, early in proliferating this idea of futarchy. And again, it's kind of started to blow up recently, and you've seen Meta's gotten a ton of attention in some of the ICOs you're doing. Maybe start us off with a baseline of what is futarchy to you, and explain, I guess, why in this tweet you said you wish you would kind of scrub it and change and evolve that terminology.
Sure, yeah. So futarchy, the TLDR is market-driven governance mechanism. So like historically, most people in crypto are probably familiar with token voting. like this idea where yeah, these projects have historically had you vote with your tokens. Like Jupiter is an example of this, on what the project should do. And in futarchy instead, people trade on what you should do. It's essentially yeah, it's kind of like a betting market on what would be the price of the token if you did something, and what would be the price of the token if you didn't. So yeah, like with Jupiter, for example, uh, if they decided to make a Jupiary decision through this, they would have a market on what would be the value or price of Jupe if you did Jupiary, and what would be the value if you didn't do Jupiary. And like one maybe the market is like, okay, Jupe would be worth $1.50 if you don't do Jupiary, and $1 if you do, because the incremental dilution, and so you should not do Jupiary. That's like the high level on how it works.
So you kind of have this prediction market. It gives you a number, and then based off of that idea it's giving you, you then can choose to make that decision, or how does it come down to a yes no? Who makes the decision there at the end of the day?
Yeah, it's all automated based on the prices. So we just take a time weighted average price of both the markets. And basically, if traders are like, this thing would make the number go up, then we do it. And if not, we don't.
Does this look complicated, or is this sort of a back end thing where people just kind of do their thing? It's super simple, and then on the back end, it's a little more complicated. Um, how would you break that down?
I think it's more complicated for people than I originally thought it would be. I mean, it's yeah. I think it takes about 20 minutes basically for it to click, like for you to participate in your first market. And then after that, it's all completely simple. But there is some kind of like, I mean, voting is also not so simple for people who have not done it before. Like the country of Bhutan was like not a democracy until recently. And so I think in like, yeah, 10 years ago, they started doing voting, and they had to do a vote, like a test vote on who should win, like the yellow dragon or the red dragon, just so people understood how voting worked.
No way.
Yeah, so, but yeah, I think it takes about 20 minutes.
Okay, so you would say I've actually never participated in something like this. So I would basically connect my wallet just like a normal governance vote, and there would be a market attached to a yes or a no side. I'm just trying to conceptualize this here.
Yeah, exactly. So say you would be, say you own a bunch of Jupe, and you'd like to sell it if they do this Jupiary thing. You're like, okay, if you do Jupiary, I'm out.
Mm.
You would sell it in the pass market. So that's the like, if this happens market.
Oh,
And then if Jupiary, if the decision does go through, then your trade is executed. So you've like sold, and you now have the dollars that you get out at like whatever price you sold at. And if it doesn't happen, so like you're happy, you just keep your jupe. It's like the trade never happened.
got you.
Mhm.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Well, then maybe now I guess the next question is why would you want to scrub the site plus docs of the word futarchy and kind of evolve it?
Yeah, I mean, in crypto we have lots of metas, right? Like right now there's a BNB, like Chinese letter meta. There have been like dog metas, cat metas, uh, and I don't really want there to just like people just to see this as like a futarchy meta, just like this new thing that is like a narrative that's gonna die, like all the other ones. Because like the ownership meta has been going strong for hundreds, if not thousands of years, right? Like we have, um, right? Like people have owned enterprises, right? They've like had stocks and stuff for hundreds of years, and we're trying to like tilt back towards that, right? And so, and I also just think ownership coins is a much more, it's a clearer pitch to a founder, right? If you're a founder, you're building a new crypto project and you want to ship fast, and I come to you and I'm like, hey, I want to launch a futarchy, you're gonna be like, what? No, that doesn't sound practical. Like that's not gonna help me. But if I'm like, hey, I can help you launch an ownership coin where you align your users more and your early believers where they have an actual stake in you, then you might be like, okay, you may still say no, but I think you would at least be more interested.
So you think the messaging around futarchy kind of needs to change a bit?
Yeah, and it's also it's not just futarchy that we use. Like there's also this whole legal component where like yeah, the intellectual property is owned by this entity that it kind of gives ownership to the token holders via futarchy.
Okay. We kind of jump ship. I guess we never even really asked about yourself, kind of, and your background, got to know you a little bit. So maybe Profit will retroactively go back here. Tell us about yourself and like how you got into crypto, what your background is, and how you created this DAO that you have today, MetaDAO.
Sure. I'm an engineer, like software engineer by trade. I used to work at a big tech company. And yeah, I mean, I just fell down a crypto rabbit hole, especially like with DeFi. I mean, the first time I made a swap through Uniswap, I was immediately like, oh my God, this is the future of finance, which like, I don't know. Maybe it's not obvious given how long it takes and how expensive it is, but it just made sense to me. And yeah, so I
When
worked in
was that?
Ethereum.
Like
That was
2017.
uh, well, I actually originally got into crypto around 2018, but then like really full sended around, yeah, 2020, 2021. And yeah, and then worked in Ethereum DeFi for a while, and then became Profit and started working on MetaDAO.
Got you. When you talk about Ethereum DeFi, Chill's kind of got a big background in Ethereum DeFi, if I
I
remember
was just
correctly.
gonna ask, what did you like? What was the history there? What did you do?
Yeah, so this is pre-profit, so I don't know how much I want to disclose, but basically I worked for the larger Ethereum DeFi projects. I mean, yeah, if you were using Ethereum DeFi, uh, like actively, you probably had money deposited in at least one smart contract that I wrote.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, so you're building infrastructure as an engineer for these larger DeFi projects. Okay.
Right.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, you get the sense that there's a lot in terms of from an ethos standpoint, from a technological standpoint that was born on Ethereum. And we've talked to many founders that have, they've kind of like some of these ideas. Just the other day, there was an ex Olympus DAO uh, a team member that was on, and that experience there from his ETH days kind of put him down this path and contributed to what he's doing now. So definitely think that that might be the same for you here. But yeah, so like, how did this all lead to MetaDAO?
I mean, yeah, I had experience at DeFi DAOs with like misaligned decision making, and then also at the big tech company I worked at. So I remember, yeah, there was a project I was working on. Where everything was going according to schedule. Like it was me and a few other engineers, everything was good. But the guy who ran the project, I think he wanted to be promoted basically. Like his title was senior manager and he wanted to be director. And so we got 41 additional engineers staffed on the project, which then like delayed everything. And obviously it was a huge waste of money and time for the company. And I was kind of like, huh, like, why is this happening? Right. Like I thought companies were supposed to want to make money and actually make good decisions. And I realized like, oh, there's misaligned incentives. We're like, it's in actually it's good for him to do this, even though it's bad for the company. And so I had those experiences, and then I'd been into markets ever since I was a kid. Like yeah, I guess a lot of kids are into like fantasy leagues and stuff. I was into like yeah, stocks and multiples and trying to figure out whether they would go up or down. Um, and one thing I learned through that, and yeah, maybe something that you guys have found or other listeners have found is like it's actually pretty hard to consistently beat the market over a long period of time, right? Um, and a big reason why that is because you have all these smart people around the world that are competing to predict the future and make money. Um, and like you can get an edge, but it's not easy to do so because it's this competitive game. And so then I stumbled across this idea where you could have markets make decisions, and I was immediately like, okay, I've seen the problem of decision making. I've seen how markets can be good, and maybe not perfectly efficient, but like pretty good. So like, yeah, I have to work on this basically.
So you've seen the problem. Oh, oh, sorry, misclicked. So you've seen the problem. You've now seen a way to fix that problem, fill the gap in the market. So why do you think that MetaDAO is the way to fix that gap?
I mean, yeah, we're the main platform today for doing this. I mean, kind of the only one actually live in production. So yeah, I guess that's the case today. It's just that we're the only one doing it.
How's the response been? I can see here that you have a lot of interesting people you're working with, and I want to get into these ICOs later too. But how's that response been? Like you got Drift here, Island DAO, Marinade working with you, Jitto, like a bunch of very prominent companies using this technology. When you go and I guess pitch this to them, what does the response look like in that sense?
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of done selling governance software to larger organizations because I think it's very hard. Like, yeah, if you're a really big crypto organization like Jito or Drift, it doesn't make as much sense for you to experiment with this new system. And so that's hence why like our current focus on ICOs.
Okay, sweet. Well, let's talk ICOs. You recently had an ICO go pretty viral, I would say, and do really well. This Umbra privacy ICO, right? Ansem even gave you a tweet, shouted out, talked about privacy and how important it is. I don't know if you want to speak on Umbra itself as a company, but maybe tell us about, if you can, about Umbra and some of these ICOs that you guys are doing.
Sure. Yeah. So they're building privacy. They're building privacy products basically. Like you can swap, but without that being revealed to everybody, which is important because if you're a trader and yeah, you're trading these like low cap shitters, then you're losing money on execution because people are seeing, oh, this guy's gonna trade out of this position, so let me like front run him, let me sell in front of him or like buy if he's buying. Um, and privacy fixes that. So that's why I'm bullish on them. And yeah, it's been insane to see. I mean, we're now above 5,000 people, and last I haven't checked it this morning, but when I went to bed, it was $11,500, which is insane because like he could actually take all that. I don't think he's going to, but I mean that's like a real round, right? 11, like yeah, I mean more than $10 million is insane for.
14 million committed.
It's 14 million. Holy shit.
14, and the minimum raise was 750K. So it's absolutely just, I mean, and then you can see OmniPair over here has 1.1 million raised with a target of 300. So just
Right.
like these are getting some serious traction.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of the reason why is because people see. So yeah, OmniPair raised $1 million. Well, originally, his minimum was 300. He wanted to raise $300,000, raised a million, and now the token is up like I think 10 to 20x for the investors, and so I think that's a big reason why people are also excited about this.
So would you call yourself more of a launch pad or an incubator?
Uh, I don't like the word launchpad because I think it's been sullied, but I would call us a fundraising platform.
Okay, fundraising platform. So then your role in here is helping raise these funds. What do you guys kind of get from that? How do you profit off of providing this, providing this solution here?
Sure. So when they launch, I mean, yeah, similar to like Pump or uh, launch pads, liquidity goes on our AMM, and we take, yeah, we clip taker fees on all that.
Okay, so this is your own AMM that you built.
Yep.
Okay, very cool. When it comes to people that are just trying to ICO and raise money, you call it a fundraising platform. Is it hand selected by you guys, or pretty just democratized in the sense that anyone can kind of do this?
Today we choose. We want to make it so that anyone can launch on MetaDAO easily, like and instantly. The main constraint there is actually legal. Like we have to spin up a legal entity for all these projects, and it takes like
Mm.
30 days and some money. And yeah, so we're working right now with a company to make it much faster and cheaper.
Interesting. Is for this? Are you guys doing like BD outreach to these projects? We talked about earlier. You kind of like got tired of doing outreach to Drift and these big, protocols. Are you doing BD to find these people, or are they largely coming to you?
I've tried to do BD, and I've actually found the quality of people is much higher when they just DM me, right? Like I went on a tour. I went to Dubai, Japan, Vietnam, a bunch of places, Turkey, and tried to meet with builders like through super teams and whatnot.
Mhm.
It was okay, but I've had way higher success of just like I publish an article explaining what we're doing, and then someone DMs me and is like, "Hey, here's what I'm building. I think it could be a fit."
Interesting.
And so with MetaDAO, you're kind of like, I should just ask this. What is your view on equity? And we see a lot of projects or a lot of ways of kind of like trying to tie value from one to the other. Like, what is your view on equity, and if and how that fits into tokens, or if it doesn't fit into it at all?
Yeah, equity is great. Equity is an asset class that's existed for hundreds of years, and it's been used to fund hundreds of thousands of businesses. I think everything that we should be doing should be trying to get to as close as equity as possible. And also, most yeah, Bitcoin is a several trillion dollar asset. The stock market is like, I think, an $80 trillion asset, right? Or like asset class. So yeah, like the stock market is way bigger than Bitcoin. It's also way bigger than currencies. Like the US dollar or gold is not that big relative to the stock market. Um, and yeah, I basically think all these people trying to just do like currencies are going to go to zero, right? Because
Mhm.
we have Bitcoin, that is the cryptocurrency. And like there, we don't really need a bunch of cryptocurrencies. We pretty much just need one. And so I think, yeah, I mean, what you see with a typical meme coin, which we can call a cryptocurrency, is yeah, just like maybe some hot speculative trading activity at the start, but eventually it just goes to zero.
Got it. Got it.
Do
You
do
know,
you think this futarchy, or maybe I'm saying the name wrong, futarchy is what I've just been saying. Do you think it's largely seeing popularity, because of the prediction market surge we're seeing?
Uh, Maybe, I'm not sure. But we're actually another word for it is decision markets, and I think we're going to pivot to that
Mm,
terminology because it's clear, right? Like futarchy
interesting.
feels like alien technology. Decision markets is like, oh, okay, I understand what that means.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, I like that pivot. Chill, I'm not sure if you had a question you were trying to get in here with, but I do have something next if you.
no, no, you can go with what you had next. You answered it.
Um, and I do want to kind of circle back later to that equity conversation and how these tokens that you're, um, fundraising for provide value or how they add value. I will also talk about that with the meta token. But you put out this tweet that said crypto doesn't have a customer acquisition problem; it has a retention problem. I'm more focused on plugging leaks and optimizing the gambling experience. We talked to Vibu on this channel from the Solana Foundation a while ago, and he kind of had the same outlook where it's like, no, no, it's not that crypto doesn't have enough people coming. It's just there is a demand issue, or the issue isn't supply, it's demand. It's not that we have too many projects launching, it's that there's zero demand for crypto and money coming in. I don't know if that's very similar to this tweet, but maybe you can just elaborate on the customer acquisition problem that you kind of touched on here.
Sure. Yeah, so MetaMask in 2021 had 40 million monthly active users. Phantom, they don't release this publicly, but I believe it's on the same, like during this cycle, they've had tens of millions of people that are actually using Phantom. Um, and the problem is basically you come because you see someone make money and you're like, okay, I want to participate in that. I want to make money too. And then you participate in the trenches and you get rinsed, right? You like buy some bundled shitter and they just insta dump and you lose all your money. And
Mhm.
that's like not a good product experience, right? If you come to make money, of course you're willing to take some risk, but you're getting way worse odds than a casino. Like if you buy the median coin on Pump Fun, um, because yeah, you have the bundlers. At one point, you had sandwichers, like that was a big problem. It seems like upon talking to people that that's mostly solved. And then you have the coin creators themselves, right? Like uh, a lot of money, for example, was extracted by those people launching AI coins. Like they would just like release a coin, say they're going to build a project, and then sell the token and walk away.
Yeah.
Uh, and so that's like a really it's worse than a casino in many ways because yeah, your money just gets taken from you, and so you're going to leave. Like that's been the problem I think for crypto. And so in order to like make yeah, I'm basically more focused on instead of trying to attract those people because I think people who want to make money are going to find the place to make money, uh, and so like prevent them from losing money when they show up to my system or
And
like make it less
how do you
likely.
do that?
Yeah, so in our system, like, if you think about the typical, leaks, like the leaky bucket of people's money in the ecosystem. And I think actually everyone kind of intuitively understands this, by the way. Otherwise, people wouldn't talk about like pump fund extracting their soul, right? Because they're just making revenue as a business, but people intuitively understand, okay, there's like a pot of money in the trenches. And as that money gets siphoned off, there's less money to go around and runners go less high, like tokens go less up.
Mhm.
And okay, so how do we do that? Yeah, if we think about the leaky bucket, there's like a big one is just, yeah, you give money to a team and then they walk away with it. So here, instead of giving the money directly to the team, you put it in this treasury that's owned by that's like controlled by token holders via decision markets. And so they can't easily walk away with the money. They can still spend their burn rate every month seamlessly, but they can't just like walk away with all the money, which has been a huge problem with ICOs historically. And then the other thing we do is this. Well, they don't get tokens up front, so in order to actually get their tokens, they need to hit certain price targets, which are like in Umbra's case, the price needs to be 2x the ICO price before they make any tokens, before they get any tokens at all, and 18 months after the ICO date. Um, and so both of those leaks are kind of plugged. And then another leak, like way that people have been rugged, is the project will actually be successful, and then but it won't reflect in the token, right? Like Uniswap is actually an example of this, right? The business makes money, but it all goes to Uniswap Labs. None of it's ever going to the token, probably. There's also, do you guys know like Trojan bot on Solana?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you go through the original tweets of their Twitter account, they'll talk about it being called Unibot on Solana, which is actually, it was built by Unibot.
Yeah.
And the Unibot has gone to zero, token has gone to zero pretty much because even though Trojan has made $200 million in revenue, that's just, the team has just taken it. They've just said, this is my money. So yeah, like I think those are the main ways that we help.
So this isn't like because we've had many other conversations on our streams of how to connect equity and tokens, but really what you're trying to do is just put tokens in an equity like state where through decision markets you're saying, hey, look, the bulk of these tokens can't just, it's not just ruggable, it's just they're able to be controlled by the community of token holders. So is what you're doing just kind of giving token holders quote unquote rights or the ability to control what's kind of being done with the supply?
Yeah, token holder protections, token holder rights, and ownership coins. That's like the key thesis here.
So
I
help me
love this
understand,
model.
if I'm a founder and I want to earn tokens, there's two things I need to meet. Number one, like a market cap goal, and number two, like a time-based goal. So it has to be post 12 months is what you said, and maybe that's changeable. But post 12 months and a certain market cap goal. Am I getting that correctly?
18 months, but yeah.
18 months. Okay. So that obviously incentivizes long-term building. If you're here for 18 months, first and foremost, congratulations. Does the market cap have to stay over that level or just hit that level?
Yeah, it's going to be a 3-month TWAP.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Okay. And
Yeah.
when it comes, yeah, I'll take this next one. When it comes to uh it- when it comes to these projects that are launching, do you see more well-funded teams? I mean, if you're coming in with like 18 months of a time horizon and that means you have to build long term. To build long term, you need to be able to sustain and have a runway to complement that. Are you seeing more kind of well-funded teams? Did they raise before, or are most of them self-funded? Like, what's the setup that a lot of these teams have coming to MetaDAO?
They're generally bootstrapped before MetaDAO, so self-funded, and then yeah, they raise money on MetaDAO and use that to build. I mean, yeah, OmniPair raised $1 million. That's like a pre-seed round. And then Umbra's obviously has, yeah, I guess $14 million committed. So definitely enough for them to build.
I hope so. So are you doing anything or interested? Because, and I, not to keep coming back to this, but on the equity side, do you think that these tokens should have some sort of intrinsic value, um, outside of just being a token, like a tie to equity or tie to or claim to companies' earnings or growth
And
in that
I'll
sense?
and I'll also add something along with that question. Do you feel like equities is moving backward and tokens are moving forward? Like, what's your view on that?
Um, okay, actually, so the first question is like, are we trying to create utility other than cash flows? Like, yeah,
I
I guess
guess
what
I
do you?
guess the question is, do you think that should have a claim to real revenue? We're seeing launchpads pop up now trying to basically problem of having these tokens having no utility, right? So they're like, "Mo, let's
Right.
make them tie to equity of the company." Are you guys interested in having an equity tie or a flywheel tie, or like what kind of utility or value do you think these tokens should offer?
Yeah, I mean, so the all the revenue of the project needs to go back into that treasury that I mentioned earlier. Because if not, it would be like equivalent to the team embezzling money from like a company, right?
Mhm.
It's not their money; it's the project's money.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that is the utility.
That's really interesting. Is that the utility for the meta token as well? What's the
Yeah,
utility
we
behind
we
that?
use our own model. So like Meta is an ownership coin on MetaDAO. All of our we have a legal entity, and all of our IP is owned by that legal entity, and all of our revenue would need to flow back to the MetaDAO treasury.
And then what at that point it's kind of voted on what's that used for, as in forms of reinvestment, dividends, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
Okay. And what would you say for a dividend model? Like we talked earlier, the community doesn't always know what they want. I think Steve Jobs famously said that people don't actually know what they want. So, like, what happens in the case where you have the community say, "Hey, this is a brand new startup. Really, the money should probably be getting reinvested, but we want
Yeah.
dividends. We want a piece of it now."
I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, I guess obviously people can be stupid, like people can do that, but probably, yeah, I think you should reinvest it. And like I actually think most of the time the market is probably going to reinvest it. The problem historically, like why have crypto people wanted buybacks and like dividends so bad is because they know that if they don't get it, then that money may just disappear, right? It may
Mm.
Mhm.
like never go to them. And so you kind of need it now if you have it. Um, versus here, I think there's like a more convincing angle as to like why, okay, if we reinvest this in the business, I still own the business, right?
I think this is an
I
amazing.
think that's a fascinating. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
really do like that model. Maybe give us an insight into like roadmap and future plans. What are you guys like currently most excited for and working for? I think Chill just said it's a really interesting model that you guys have built, and I think it does kind of tie naturally the intrinsic value of these companies to the token holders, and it has their best interest at heart using this model. What are your kind of future plans with this?
Sure. I mean, just scaling it out, right? More entrepreneurs, more investors, like more people on the participating side. Um, and I think the key constraint there is entrepreneurs. Like, we need to make a best in class product for entrepreneurs where doing this is easier than raising a venture round,
Mm.
which sounds ambitious because of the whole governance angle. But I think, yeah, we're not that far away. And like one thing that you can do here that I think you can't do outside is just raise faster, right? Because of the stronger token holder protections, I think you can legitimately ape first and do due diligence later, right? Like, because if the team turns out to be bad or malicious, like token holders can raise a proposal to return some or all of that money. Um, and so, yeah, like I think that will enable entrepreneurs to raise faster. Maybe instead of a month or a few months, it'll be like 4 days, right? But yeah, other things that we're thinking about as well on that side, but basically just like building a world in class product for entrepreneurs,
And so
best in class.
question that I have is so you brought up Unibot earlier, and I always go back to this, and this is kind of what pushed me in the direction of ICM in the first place. Unibot was an incredible company. It made a product, that basically like kicked off an entire meta, similar to what you guys did actually with Futarchy. But they made hundreds of millions of dollars, and like you said, they basically siphoned that money out of crypto, right? And they made a lot of decisions that the community did not agree with. So in a case like this, if if a project like Unibot was launched on MetaDAO with that treasury, let's say they've already been successful, they've already made hundreds of millions of dollars, but then for some reason they start making some crazy decisions that really affect the health of the company. Can the decision markets make a decision on where the treasury is allocated as well? Like, can they just say, hey, look, this is done, treasury split up amongst token holders and we go about our day?
Yeah, and that's already happened.
Wow, that is
Can
amazing.
you run
Yeah,
through that
run through
example?
that for us.
Sure. So Mountain Capital was a fund that, or like it tried to be a fund. It raised on MetaDAO, and um, yeah, there was basically people were not happy with how fast deals were getting brought to the fund. Um, and yeah, so the fund over like three proposals, basically community members, like people who were not insiders, just people who owned a large chunk of the token, created proposals to do uh liquidations kind of like they so the first two proposals were buybacks up to the net asset value. There was so yeah, so it launched at 58 cents a token. So there was 58 cents of USDC in the treasury for every token. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So 58 cents of USDC in the treasury for every token. It was trading below 58 cents. It was trading around like high 40s, low 50s. And so this guy created several proposals to buy back the token up to 58 cents a token with like the first one was $1 million, the second one was 1.5 million. And then at the end, we basically said, okay, like this is not working out. So let's just liquidate the entire thing, and then did a liquidation. And because of trading fees, it ended up being around 60 cents, 60.5 cents per token. Everyone got back who participated in the ICO.
That is really interesting because I mean, I think that really highlights holder protections that we haven't seen before in crypto. Like, normally you would just get rugged and the founders would leave and never come back. But like in this case, they actually got that claim and a vote passed. I do think that's fascinating. That's actually worked, and you have an example of that in the past. Chill. Maybe you want to speak on that too. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if we lost Chill. Chill, you with us? Okay. Well, he's not with us. Nonetheless, we will pivot. I think that's really cool. And I haven't seen something like that before, so I'm really interested in exploring that a little bit more. Another project that's ICOing on MetaDAO is Avora. Maybe just I'm not sure if you want to touch on this just like you did Umbra or not.
I haven't spoken that much to the Evora team. I would like to talk a bit of Vici, if you could pull up a Vici money on Twitter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And while you pull that up, apologies as my where my power flickered on and off for a second there, and so I lost connection briefly. But either way, I really like that example of what you mentioned with the hedge fund. I mean, I think I missed just the tail end of that, but I think that's really important for everyone to understand that there is an ability to create like token holder rights and just keep things solely on the token side. I think there's a lot of conversation between, tying it back to equity, but you can create this sort of controlled environment through decision markets. And you're actually blowing my mind with this right now, Profit. So, I mean, amazing conversation so far. And thank you for that.
Yeah.
Hey, and I want to pull up Avicii money. Can you tell me what's the name of that
Yeah,
again? Avicii, AVICH.
AVICI.
Okay, money. Oh yes, yes, here it is. Okay, cool. Okay, let's hear about this.
Yeah, so I met the founder of this back in May. So I live in San Francisco, and he was in the area. So I took an hour and a half Uber down to meet him because I was really excited about what he was building, and basically tried to convince him for like an hour to launch with MetaDAO. And his conclusion was basically like, okay, I believe in what you guys are doing. I think if I were to launch a token, I'd do it with MetaDAO, but I'm not sure if I want to launch a token, right? Because like there's all these problems. Like founders have been kind of burned by some token holders. Just like if the token goes down, just being constantly in their DMs and their chats, being like "fuck you." Um,
Sure.
and yeah, so but eventually, after seeing OmniPair work, he was like, okay, this makes sense. And so, yeah, I'm really excited about them because it's a super high quality founder. Like he's a second time founder. The business, it already makes money. It has 4,000 monthly active users. They're growing, I think, uh, somewhere around 50% month over month. And the retention is really high. And so, and basically what the business is like a crypto card, like spend your stable coins. So kind of like a cast competitor if you're familiar, but yeah, that's Avicii.
We've seen this neobank Meta pop off recently. Is there an ETA on when they're launching? I think I might have seen it on their Twitter,
Yeah, the
honestly. Oh, the
14th.
14th,
So next
14th.
Tuesday.
Yeah, that's huge. I think this will do really well. Like we said, that neobank narrative and Meta has been popping off. So that's exciting. You're in San
Yep.
Francisco. How do you like it?
I love it. I mean, there's nothing to do, so just work.
Yeah. Well, I guess you're in the hub of startups, I guess, which is interesting. Going back to our BD conversation, you said you don't really like to do much BD out there, and you haven't found much value in it. But ironically, you're where the startups are.
Yeah, which is cool. I mean, it's cool that there's like so many people building new stuff around me. I think it gives energy to the city. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't really interact that much with people outside of MetaDAO or crypto. I pretty much just like wake up, go to office, go to gym, repeat.
Stay in your own
Yeah.
lane. What do you say to what do you say to the people, the founders per se, that they need funding. You think MetaDAO is the best option for them, but they say, "Hey, I don't really want that control. Right? I skipped VC because I don't really want someone controlling my business. I like to have full control over my business." Would you just say, "Hey, well, this isn't for you then," or like, is there an answer
Yeah, I
there?
mean, I think if you can bootstrap, like maybe do that, right? Bootstrapping, I think, is a totally legitimate option. Um, if you need capital to grow or scale your business, I think like doing an ownership coin is the best way, especially if you're crypto native business, because yeah, I mean you get to align CT and your users and believers with you, right? They actually have a stake in what you're building. I mean, MetaDAO has massively like been helped by the people that own MetaDAO tokens, just like shilling it and telling people about it and testing our products. Um, and so, and yeah, I mean, I think the other ways of launching a token are not really that great. Like you can go the VC playbook and then you're going to launch a low float, high FEV coin on sexes, and it's probably going to go down because, yeah, you concentrate all your demand around the TGE and then supply comes later, like all those unlocks. And then, I mean, yeah, if you're a serious person, you're probably not considering launching on Pump or Believe anyway, but yeah, so basically that's the pitch.
Why do you why would you include believe in that when you say that? Just out of curiosity.
Sure. I mean, I think it's a bonding curve based system. Imagine you're like a founder that's trying to convince an engineer to join your startup early, and you're like, "Hey, you're going to get 1% over 4 years. That's the typical deal." Um, and then you have to explain, "Oh, yes, there was someone who was able to buy 1% for $150 on the bonding curve, but like, don't think about that, right?" You don't have to think about the fact that you're working for 4 years for $150 worth of tokens. I think that's like one way. The other thing is just you don't raise that much money, right? Like the top most hype project on Believe, which I think the one that's made the most fees is ironically a meme coin, like the startup one. But if you look at Polycule,
Probably.
it's raised like $1 million in fees, right? Uh, which that's okay, but that's the most hyped, like most traded project on Believe, or like one of the most. If you look at the median, it's like 100K, right? It's pretty hard to build a business on 100K. So that I think is like a big core reason.
So you just think flat curves are the answer, or like time decay curves? Obviously, you think dynamic bonding curves for most established businesses are just not the answer. What do you think is the
Yeah, just
answer?
fixed price ICOs. Like everyone gets the same price. Yeah, I think that is like, it feels the most fair, right? If we all participate and everyone who participates gets the same price, there's no like, there's no sniping or whatever possible.
What happens to oversubscribed ICOs? Obviously, like this Uber one's got 14.5 million, like we talked about, raised. He's probably not going to take the entire 14.5 million. What happens to the oversubscribed
Yeah, it's
stuff?
all pro rata. So if you invest or if you put in like $1,000, then and it's say 2x oversubscribed, in this case, maybe he takes 7 million, then you'd get half your USDC back.
Oh, okay, that, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. I don't know. I think that really covers all the bases for me. I think this is super fascinating. I love this model. Because like you mentioned, the unruggable model. I got to work through it. I got to see some more examples, I think, but it's a really interesting innovation and way to look at the markets in a crypto market that's largely been just like no benefits for holders
Right.
whatsoever at all. When it comes to like no buybacks, no stake in the business, you could get rugged. We might drain liquidity. Like there's nothing substantial to stand on. So I think it's a really fascinating conversation, and we're heading in the right direction ultimately. Um, what are some forward looking thoughts, if you want to just leave us on something like that, that you want to give? What are you most excited about in crypto? Do you really like this whole bringing Web2 companies on chain situation, meta, ICM narrative we're kind of seeing? Maybe leave us with some forward looking thoughts there.
Yeah, before I do that, can I ask if both of you have participated in Umbra?
No,
No,
dude, we
no.
haven't. I saw
Okay,
it
well
was
you gotta.
oversubscribed, and I was like,
You gotta. I mean, even if it's only like $50, I think just to see how the system operates, I think it'd be useful to do. I would at least appreciate it if you
I
did
think
it.
that I'll do that.
Cool. Uh,
I'll do that. I think I want to do that for Avora or for
Avicii.
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 Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Same.
And then yeah, in terms of forward looking, like what am I excited about in crypto? I mean, yeah, I think ICM is not a meta. ICM is like, or maybe it's a meta, but it's a meta that I think is going to last a long time. Like it does actually make sense. Internet capital markets does make sense that we can like fund these businesses on chain, and it's more efficient for many people, especially people outside the US, where historically there hasn't been that much venture capital. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm excited about our take to it. I think other people are also coming out with interesting takes. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, look, we really appreciate you coming on, Prophet. I think what you're building is something that's really huge. It's really important. I think that ICM, in general, is a push in a much more serious direction for crypto. But I really think there here at MetaDAO, you guys are really building something that can stand on your own, and something that can likely be here for a very, very long time. So hats off to you guys. And I know that, you guys are working on many things. So if there's any, we always tell interesting founders that we love, definitely come back. If there's any big announcements, anything you want to share with your community, definitely come back. We'd love to have you back on full mask, right? Fully masked up.
Full
We'd
mask,
love to
baby.
have you back, man. So awesome interview today. Awesome conversation, and really love what you're building.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, thank you guys both for so much for having me on.
Prophet, thanks for coming on last minute. And I guess maybe one last thing
Yeah.
here. Are you optimistic about the future of finance in general coming on chain, right? We're seeing pushes from Robinhood. We're seeing pushes from the SEC. Are you optimistic in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, that was originally what got me sniped on DeFi, right? I think if you have a 24/7 global instant cheap financial system, that's obviously over the long run, probably over the medium run too, going to outcompete the existing financial system, which is like every country has their own. There's lots of fees everywhere. It's not instant, right? Generally takes like several days to even just send a wire, which is basically just updating a number in a database, which is fucking insane. Um, so yeah, I am. I think like DeFi is still the future. Like the original future that we saw in 2020 is still it.
Are you doing any lobbying? We talked to some teams that have done some lobbying in the past. They want to lobby going forward for some of this stuff. Is that something MetaDAO's interested at all, or just kind of letting it develop?
We're a really small team. Like it's three people full time, me, my co-founder, and an engineer, two people part time, designer, and a Twitter intern. So I don't think we have the time to do any lobbying. We don't even really have the time to do what we're currently doing. So yeah,
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you coming on and taking that
yeah,
time.
for sure.
Well, we sniped you on the wrong date. But okay, that being said, we'll let you go, Prophet. Hopefully we can get you back on at some point, and we will definitely, maybe we'll even stream it, trying this Avicii Raise live, give MetaDAO a shot.
Yeah, for sure. Great conversation. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Thanks, brother.
Cheers.
Peace.
Man, like first off, we apologize for some of the stuff that like literally during the interview, my I don't know what happened. My power just flicked on and off. I was like, okay, I dropped off the call and I came back on. But that was a really I love that conversation, man. I gotta say, I love what MetaDAO is building. I didn't get a chance to look into it as much when it first launched and when it first came out. But what we have been looking for in crypto is basically for things to be able to stand on their own, right? That's why we're creating that's why we push towards DeFi. That's why we push like that's the whole point of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is able to stand on its own in that it's an asset that allows you to be your own bank and hedge against, government debasement, etc. And in the rest of the innovations are other things that should be able to stand on its own, right? Ownership through NFTs, DeFi through blockchains like Ethereum. And I feel like last cycle was us discovering all of these use cases and experimenting in a really irresponsible way. Like all the Ponzi's, all the NFT rocks going to multi-millions and whatever, because we were just blinded by the amount of things that we can do with this technology. But this cycle, I believe so far, and cycle quote unquote, is kind of putting some of these ideas to work. And I think we're seeing that in things like ICM, for example, being able to create something that within crypto that is able to stand on its own and reach outside of our industry. So yeah, I really love here. I really love what's being done here at MetaDAO. It's absolutely insane, and this chart is probably going to go so much higher.
What's interesting about that conversation is we talked to so many founders, so many different launch pads, so many people creating their own, different ways to, you know, link equity to a token or have a flywheel or, tie value to growth in some way. What's interesting about MetaDAO is there's no like one shoe fits all category that it puts you in. It's like, hey, maybe at some point these people will vote for equity share in the company. Maybe at some point these people will vote for a flywheel. It's kind of like we do whatever the holders want to do. And if we don't think it's going successful, we can either use the treasury bid price up to a good spot for us to exit at a fair value, or you can liquidate the treasury and people get kind of paid out pro rata share of that. And I think it's really interesting because Profit hasn't come here to say, hey, no, tokens have to be linked to equity, or hey, no, tokens have to have a flywheel. He just said, hey, no, tokens can be whatever you want them to be, as long as they're providing value, as long as the holders want value, you can make that decision, or at least put a vote up to make that decision, which I think is really interesting because it doesn't chokehold us or pigeonhole us to, again, that one shoe fits all situation.
Yep, yep. And I like the fact that you can control what happens with the treasury. Like team starts making some crazy decisions. All right, bet we're out of here. You guys can just figure out the rest, and we just decision market and spread it amongst the community or whatever the decision is. But creating token holder rights through an on-chain like in an on-chain like permissionless way like this, I think that's super like that fixes like a huge problem because everyone wants intrinsic value of tokens. The intrinsic value is your tokens, through your tokens you control whatever happens with this company, and that's why they call it ownership coins. Like I see why that's the perfect name for it.
It kind of just clicks when you put it like that. Ownership coins, you make decision. It's like a board voting on things. It's like it does kind of click. Futarchy, it's a whole different wording, verbiage, and when you try to explain, oh, you're voting on this and this, it'll show the price if you vote no. It'll show the price if you vote yes. I think simplify it straight up. Just hey, it's ownership coins. You have ownership. You can vote on ownership. You can raise concerns. Yeah, I really do think that's interesting. With this dip here we're seeing on Meta, it might be interesting to try to get a piece of this. They've had some really good raises. Look, they have 14 and a half A's for Umbra. We talk about ICM. They have some pretty cool ICM related projects coming on. I mean, he talked about Avicii as well, which is that neobank situation. And again, ICM so broad. It's basically just another word at this point for Solana utility. And it's been rebranded as ICM, but they have some pretty interesting ones coming on. I'm interested to see how they kind of democratize it in the future. He said right now it's sort of hand selected, but they plan to democratize a little more going forward. What do you think that looks like?
That's a good question. I mean, maybe they just maybe they just open it to whoever wants to try to raise on the platform, and just kind of open up the gates and let the markets decide what they want to, what, raises they want to fill and which ones they want to just let be.
Yeah. Here's OMFG, guys, by the way.
OMFG. Love this chart. Love this chart.
Obviously, this is OMFG is obviously OmniPair, which is part of the meta, raised via MetaDAO. So like you can see these tokens
I
are picking
did
up
not know
traction.
that. I did
Oh
not
yeah.
know. I
Yeah.
didn't realize OMFG launched with just then. That's actually kind of crazy.
Right. So they have some pretty good launches. I mean, he kind of related this to Believe too. This is just one of the MetaDAO launches, and I think MetaDAO is really starting to kick into doing more raises soon. But again, like this is at 13 mil. I would put it at at the top of the Believe list, basically for um, who would be leading Believe. So pretty interesting to see. And this is right. OMFG obviously is 13 mil. MetaDAO still has a little less launches than Believe, right? But MetaDAO's sub 100 mil. Believe is over 100 mil. So like it's I don't know, something to think about. But yeah, you can see
Yeah.
on my screen there, OmniPair. They raised 300K, or he was looking to raise 300K. They raised 1.1 mil. Everyone's up like 20x the raise is what he said, 10, 20x. So
Jeez.
interesting.
Gee, and how long has OMFG been
Been on the
uh
market?
yeah.
Let's see. So they were probably raising a little bit, obviously before they launched, but they had launched for 73 days.
Guys, do y'all not remember what I said the other day in the tweet? I literally said, and I said ICM is attracting a ton of players, whether you want to call them launch pads, accelerators, incubators, whatever. Um, and they have to, like, all of these projects will go up, like, to allow these to make the mechanisms these players put in place successful, to be seen as successful. You need good projects that attract capital, that attract community, and that's exactly what's happening. So, like, I'm really thinking all of this leads to basically the ICO season of 2025. You know what I mean? You have players,
I would love that.
literally, you have, or who knows, maybe of 2026 too. I mean, I don't really know, but the interesting thing is, note that the business cycle is picking up, rates are dropping, money becomes cheaper. Okay. That means more people want to build, more people want to expand, more money gets thrown around. That means more building happens in crypto. Like, not only is capital going to come this way, but more builders will come this way because maybe it's faster, it's cheaper, it's better than the VC route. And so you have all of these projects with people like YC founders, A16Z founders, or A16, yeah, A16Z founders that want to launch in the space. And who knows what platforms they come to, right? Who at a certain point, it might not even matter which platform, as long as these things As long as these platforms try to provide value in some way, I think everyone is finding a different way to do it. I think Soar is a really good. They have a really good model that they're working on over there. Based on our conversation with Tom this week, I think MetaDAO is doing really well there. We'll see how Believe evolves with the flywheel, etc. But all the and then you have incubators like ICM.run, but you have all these players coming together to build up solid projects and literally launch them on the market. And they all have to go up. All right, I'm gonna put out a tweet right now. I'm talking myself into it.
I think chill. I think that's the thing. Right now we're seeing like the natural evolution of launch pads. I'm going to use for the sake of just keeping it simple. And it's like a flight to value. It's like a flat flight to value. We started, okay, ICM's pretty cool. We got a few cool launches on Believe. We've had this argument though, but what's the real value of these tokens? Well, nothing other than a trust me, bro
Yep.
handshake from the dev saying, "Hey guys, I'm gonna do buybacks," or "Hey guys, if I do happen to get acquired, I might throw you guys some money." Right? It's a trust me, bro, and that was like step one. Step two, now we're seeing people like Street Foundation from Maya. We're seeing things like Soar. We're seeing MetaDAO, where it's like, no, but you guys can actually have value, whether that be this is companies anchored in equity or companies where you have full voting control over it. And if things just aren't working like you want to, fine, liquidate treasury, give me my money, let's go. Um, I like this ownership conversation we just had is really interesting to me because I've always been of the belief that there is no one way to do it. And I think like this is proof that like putting the power back in the people's hands, you can really have value come back to these coins in a meaningful way. So I don't know. I gotta dig into this. I'm excited. I'm gonna definitely try maybe this Umbra one just because, but definitely
Avicii next Tuesday.
Vici.
And also he also said, what else did he say? He also said something along the lines of equity being, used for thousands of years, right? He's like, it's equity has been used for hundreds of years to raise capital and to fund and to do this, that, and the third. So I'm glad that he is still respecting the place that equity has. I think there are other like launch pads or players out there that say like, nah, like bump equity in totality. Like we just want to move forward. And that's why I asked them, like, is tokens like moving forward or backward? Or is moving away from equity like forward or backward? Right. Or tying to equity forward or backward. So like what I'm trying to say is this: with the MetaDAO model, you have the ability to be completely on the token side, right? Like experience the upside, the volatility, and all the things that we love about crypto. But through the decision markets, you still have the ability to take advantage of, anything that could happen potentially with something that's launched. Whether that could be, if there's an exit that happens, or an acquisition, merger, or if the company starts generating revenue, and now token holders have control over that treasury. Like that is a completely powerful model. I think they're doing something really good over there.
Was this I loved how he talked about, was this the Mount Capital that ended up
I
dispersing to
believe so.
holders
I
or
believe so. I think so anyway.
yeah, it's 60. Here, let me pull up that chart. Yeah, I think so because this one's it kind of stopped trading here at 60 cents. Yeah, liquidity's been taken. Interesting. Yeah, so like this is an example of a project that did not work out, yet people were made whole
Yeah.
on.
Like when
Like
do you hear
that's
about
pretty
that?
fascinating to
When
me.
do you hear about that in crypto? When do you hear about that? Like a project that rug, but the holders are still safe.
That I think is the biggest test case that they have right now. Um yeah, that's wild. I'm gonna add this to. I'm making a MetaDAO list here on Deck Screen and just to track going forward, track all their launches,
Yeah.
because I do think. I mean, and they're getting good raises. Like, let me share this tab real quick. Like, they raised $5.7 million. You know, OMFG raised 1.2 mil. Like, these are like he said, significant capital. You can build a business with $1 million. You can build a business with 5 million
Yeah.
bucks.
Holy
Um,
bro, like I think I'm actually gonna watch for some launches on here. Like Avicii, I'm definitely gonna watch for.
look, this is already at 15 mils, at 14 mil when you started the conversation. You guys are just bidding it up. No, but
The-
it is super
yeah.
cool. I like this model. The only issue I could see is, some a founder just not wanting anyone else to have control over his project, right? Which I guess can make sense. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I don't want everyone else to have opinion. I just want to build my project how I want to. That's the only pain point I'm really thinking of at the moment.
But I think
That
that's
I
the
could see.
point, right? I think that's the point. Like when you have, someone like a Soar is a really good example, or a Street, or a MetaDAO. Like you have all these different ways of doing it, and then as founders come in, they just kind of choose, what's best for them, and what they're trying to build, right? Like everything there isn't, and that's the beauty of this thing, there isn't just one way to do it. And that's what I've loved about ICM.run, and the fact that they're launchpad agnostic. Like there's not just one way to do it, and we're way too early in this whole thing to have figured out a one size fits all. Maybe eventually down the road, we start to iterate and we see what works better. But every founder is going to want to have, they're going to want to do something different. And I think having these different venues in place is going to be really important, because if the regulations continue to ease, more founders start looking into this, more people will launch as they find like, holy crap, these startups are like accelerating, they're making money really quick. They're able to build in public successfully. It's going to attract other founders. And so as long as they have a place to go that fits the bill for them, I think that's bullish.
Yes, yes. I wonder if we know ICM.run incubated OG Protocol is our first launch. I wonder because OG Protocol is probably not going to raise on a bonding curve. I doubt that the founder of Zynga is going to want, you know, to start at a 60K market cap after bonding, right? So I wonder if Profit's going to be the one heading this up in MetaDAO, and they're going to be putting OG Protocol on there for a raise.
Yeah.
Interesting thoughts.
There's all this, and that's why I keep saying that, like, we're so early, like all this stuff needs to be hashed out. But for everyone listening, the benefit for us, bro, all these numbers gotta go up, man. Like that's what it all boils down to. Like if you're looking at it purely from a trader's mentality, like there's so much opportunity ahead of us, it's not even funny. Like this literally will be the ICO boom of 2017 reimagined.
Yeah, this is powerful. This MNT Capital or MTN Capital thing is powerful right here. I think it's a great showcase of what this platform is meant to do when it comes to holder rights. Chill, but I don't know, man. We could probably sit here and talk all day
Yeah.
about how interesting that process is. And again, ZC is doing something similar. I would have to kind of see how ZC is unique from MetaDAO. Um, I'm trying to think back on our conversation this week.
Man, we had
Um,
so many conversations. I'm trying to think back myself. Um, I would have to do a little bit more. I don't even want to speak on it so I don't
yeah.
misspeak. But I think I know what the difference is, but I'm not going to speak on it since I can't confirm. Um, but I don't know, bro. I mean, if you want, we can kind of run through just kind of big picture what's happening, and just kind of wrap there for an early show, or you want what are the vibes?
Let's do it. Let's talk BNB meltdown. I mean, whole market's melting down right now. So maybe let's talk market meltdown. Um,
Got you.
kind of thought process. Maybe think through like where we think the market's going. Do we think it's going to be a rotation back to Solana? Man, I guess we should. We probably. I would have been interested to ask Profit this too. Like if he thinks this BNB rotation will be short lived, like we do on this channel, I believe. But
I have an interesting take for you on this. So here is my take on the BNB rotation and where that leaves Solana. So as you can see here, BNB prices have been going down only, this entire day. Do I think the BNB trenches are dead? I don't think so. I think the BNB trenches will actually continue. I think the position that BNB is in right now is they're in a position that Solana was in right before, with Fartcoin and the rest started to, take off. And I think from a meme standpoint, if you're a day trader, you're a cabal, you're an FNF, that's probably the place that you'll want to be for all of that sort of like meme coin trench activity. Um, and I'm sure CZ will find a way to use that activity to build other things eventually, just like Solana did. Um, but I think that BNB's trench activity could continue. But does that mean that Solana does that mean it's all over for
Real
Solana?
quick, chill.
Real
What
quick,
have you
real
seen?
quick,
Have you seen
let me
this?
finish real quick for the clip. So does that mean that it's over for Solana? I don't think so. Like you see, they have like the Builders Fund, they're ready over there at BNB, but it's not over for Solana. Why? Because I believe that all of the people that left, they're all the people that are left that left that left Solana on chain are the cabals, the FNFs, the grifters, right? The mercenary capital has now left Solana and gone to BNB. Is that a problem for Solana? I don't think so, especially when we will replace that capital with much safer mechanics like the ones we see at places like MetaDAO, Soar, Street, and all ICM.run. Like we're creating a much better environment through ICM, through utility, through seeking this means of a much better environment for traders and founders to build and be involved in. And I think that's really where we are right now. ICM will lead the resurgence for Solana, revive the on-chain environment, but it won't be meme first. It will be ICM and utility first, just like Solana has been hinting at this whole time. And then the trench activity, that'll be for BNB for now until they want to build other serious things.
Clip it.
Clip
Clip it.
that, chat.
Let's go.
Okay.
Clip it. No, but yeah, I tend to agree. I think actually bullish shakeout. Mercy always says a bullish shakeout, guys. I like a good old bullish shakeout. So what are your thoughts on the builder fund though? You think since you think BNBs or the rotation is going to happen, come back to Solana, what do you think this $1 billion builder fund BNB is throwing around is it going to do anything? Is it going to incentivize people to come to BNB?
Like it's absolutely going to do something. I mean, look, there's Mandarin tickers over there. You know what I mean? So that means there's a lot of other there's a much different demographic that's trading on chain over there. And there's a lot for them to do with $1 billion. Will that attract more like other founders? For sure. I saw CZ said in 2025 they reduced gas fees by 2,000%. So will there be stuff to do on BNB? Absolutely. But that's for another time. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what people don't understand is here is the strategy for layer ones. And I'm gonna put the strategy out there. Layer ones first attract the trenches, attract degen capital that's willing to buy anything. Give them a reason to stay. Tell them that their memes will be listed on Aster. Tell them that at first it'll be perps trading, but then the way to get the airdrops is to hold what's ever listed spot on Aster. So that will then provide the degens a reason to buy up and bid up all of these coins. I mean, who's to say, I mean, all the coins that I look at on BNB, they have, 10, 20, 30, 40 mil in volume. There's one that I bought last night that completely got nuked overnight, $35 million in volume, under a million, under 2 million market cap, right? So the first part of a layer one strategy is to attract degen capital. Degens make all the noise. As much as we hate it, memes drive attention. Once you have the attention, what do you do with it? $1 billion builder fund to empower BNB builders. Hey guys, now that you're here and all the money and attention is here, you see that, let's try to build something. And so they're going to support builders, and who knows what's built on BNB? I don't really know. Is it AI projects? Is it ICM? Is it just fake utility? Or what's being built over there? Who knows? Who knows? And while all of that's being figured out, I think Solana is well positioned in that they've been focused on ICM and tokenization and RWAs. They've been focused on that for months and months and months. They're already positioned and have this in place, whereas BNB is just kind of starting to put the pieces together here. So I think, you know, BNB, like CZ is not going to let this. He's not just going to let his chain be laughed at. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's not the CEO anymore, but he's kind of still the CEO in a in a kind of way.
Haven't even had this chat open this entire time, guys. Sorry. Morning, Chad. What's up, Ave?
Yo, same. Like I haven't had the chat open myself either. My bad, y'all. My bad. Actually, you know, maybe we do maybe we do this. Maybe show some of this on stream here. So maybe we could actually keep up with it. Yeah, morning Ave, Josh, we want the mask. Kish, see you as usual. But yeah, man, look. Um I don't think it's over for BNB, but it's definitely not over for Solana. I think too many people are thinking, oh, it's one or the other. You know, meme capital will always want memes. They'll just go to the next big thing, which makes them a good growth strategy for any competing L1 who wants to, you know, build up their ecosystem. But eventually, you have to move to something else. That's exactly what Solana did at first. They appealed to the memes. And then they said, "Hey, Bonk, let's work with you closely." And they really did a good job of just getting behind the ecosystem, whatever was being built there. And then eventually, it kind of led to other things. And now we have Bonk as a launch pad, and Bonk, pursuing ICM and doing all sorts of stuff. So but that all starts somewhere, and it starts with degens, man. It starts with degen capital and just snowballs from there.
Yes, sir. You want to run through some charts?
Yeah, let me share. Let's run through some majors real quick. So
I'm gonna catch up on chat from before we do that, if you don't
yeah,
mind.
yeah.
Just because I see Zappy said, "Sir, what's the utility for Metacoin?" Again, you probably asked this during the call. I just didn't have it open. Utility is whatever you guys want. You get to vote on it. Same mechanisms that they're using for all their other tokens. They use themselves. So if you want whatever you want, you get to vote on. You have the ability to get that passed. By the way, so
Sir,
Pegs who says Futarchy is super cool. Go ahead, chill.
no, he said, "Sir, the meta chart was wrong." I'm gonna try to see if
No,
it
it
it was
was
right.
right. It just different liquidity
Gotcha.
pool.
Bet.
Yeah. So on that, yeah.
Futarchy is super cool, but will take
But
time for people outside our industry to adopt this, in my opinion. Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, like everything's going to take time, right? But I think overall, ICM has attracted a lot of attention. We heard that was it Street that we had on that said that they had a meeting with A16Z. A16Z invited them in and wanted a pitch on, hey, look, what are you building? Tell us about it. Right. Like the fact that A16Z is interested means that there are people outside of this industry that are paying attention to ICM. And whether that is ICM from an equity anchor token perspective, or is it from like a perspective like SOAR, where they're building, what was it, the DSR token standard? Or is it like a MetaDAO where it's just more so about token holder rights? Who knows what that solution would look like? But there definitely are people outside of our industry already watching this space.
the beauty of that too is there's a lot of competition. I feel like of people trying to innovate in this ICM space. So like I'm not even in the boat of like, hey, I think I'm gonna select one that's gonna win all. Hey guys, I'm putting all my chips in MetaDAO. I'm putting all my chips in SOAR. Like, no, I think there's really good positive competition right now, and so like it's super hard to pick a winner, but it's pretty obvious. Like someone's gonna pick up the ball. Someone's gonna be able to keep ICM going. Someone's gonna have the winner at some point, which is super hopeful.
1000%, 1000%. Man, like dude, I'm about to write a tweet. Sir, still the summary of MetaDAO. didn't post.
Our producer Josh is
Yeah.
out
Yeah,
today.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, Zappy. Sorry, Zappy. You know, Josh does so much for our streams. It's like absolutely crazy. Like like literally the reason why this stream it has done so well from an organizational standpoint, posts, clips, you know, the show notes, the way things transition so seamlessly. Like you guys don't see it on your end, but Josh is like, you know, he's so clutch in doing a lot of those things and helping to keep us on time and helping conversations to flow. Yeah, so unfortunately Josh isn't here today. And so some of those show notes weren't there, but shout out to him. Shout out to Josh. He's a freaking legend right there, bro.
Legend. Have you heard about this luminaries thing? I'm not sure if I'm familiar. Abe
Yes,
says, "What's with this
yes.
luminaries Twitter?"
I wanted to
Perfect.
hear I wanted to talk about this. Let me see if they actually responded to me in the Big Brains chat as well. Luminaries. So Luminaries is a Twitter account that was launched, and it looks like by Solana, if I'm not mistaken. Here we go. Here it is. So, internet capital memes is the only thing that's here. So, I have no idea what this is, but it looks like it's associated with. It looks like it's associated with Solana. Has a Solana badge, and I'm not really sure what to make of this. Oh, so Solana just commented 5 minutes ago. Um, I'm trying to figure out like what the heck. Oh, it's on. Oh, okay, I'm sure somebody just launched a pump fund token for it. But yeah, this is.
I have your screen up now, by the way. I'm not sure
Oh,
if
we didn't have it up already. Okay, here it is. Luminaries. It has the soul badge, right? Has the soul badge. So it looks like it's affiliated with Solana. You go to the first post, and all it says is question marks, and then Solana comments the same thing, question mark. So I'm not really sure. Um, I'm not really sure what this is. I'm not sure where this leads, but I'm gonna give them a follow and I'm gonna turn on notifications for now, and I'll keep a track of it and I'll let you guys know. But yeah, as of right now, I mean, internet capital memes. Like, I don't know, is that like the belief coins that that Pasternak's talking about, or I don't know. What do you think?
um honestly, bro, I was messaging Profit back, just thanking him for coming on.
Nah, you're good.
This is launched by Solana. Is it it's a belief token and it's got the verified luminaries like thing on it.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
So this account like made it for sure.
I'm not sure who, like, maybe you need to put your overlay on it. You know, I know on Twitter you have some sort of overlay that tells you like, you know, if it's been created before or whatever. I'm thinking this is an official account though. It has a Solana badge.
Yeah.
Solana commented on it, you know, right, you know, minutes after. You know what? F it. I'm gonna, you know,
But is the
I'll put a question
token
mark.
is the token there's a token for it, I'm assuming?
I saw somebody under the Solana comments mention the Luminaries ticker. You know what? And instead of fading it like I would, I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look to see exactly what the heck is going on with this ticker. Let me see, because I don't think this is this. Yeah, it's at 100. Yeah, yeah, it's at 174K market cap.
Launched on
So
Pump Fun. Mm.
yeah, I got this is the chart right here. I mean, million in volume. You know, pretty much sideways since launch. Ah, It's kind of hard to say. Internet capital memes. Um, would they launch a meme right now on Pump Fund? Would Solana launch a meme coin on Pump Fund right now?
No, unless it's
I'm not really
verified, I would
sure.
absolutely not bid that.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I find it really hard to believe if this really was connected to Solana, I doubt we would find it.
Yeah.
3 hours after launch. Hold on, wait a second. 10:45. When was this? When was this tweet put out? 1:43 p.m. So this was launched before. When was this discovered? The first time I discovered this was 11:28, and this went out a whole 45 minutes before. Ugh. Ugh. Things are kind of okay. This is kind of, I don't know what to make of this. That's all I'm gonna say here. I have no idea what to make of this. Um, I'm looking. It's just tough to see that. Actually, let me search the ticker real quick, and let me see if there's any other information. Luminaries. All right, guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do some live research right here, real quick. We're going to do some live research. I want to dig into this. Why do I want to dig into this? Why am I wasting all of our time on something as simple as Luminaries? Number one, I want to emphasize that Luminaries is a official. I want to, from what it looks like, it's an official Twitter account. It has engagement from Solana. Why am I looking into the token? So let me click on this, right? You see the post, and then you see that number one, it's Solana. Solana commented on this shortly after this was posted, about like 3 minutes after, right? Now, this Luminaries token was made at 10:45 a.m. This was launched at 10:45 a.m. I discovered this at 11:28 was when and really it was someone in a chat that I'm in that said, "Hey, anybody saw this?" That was at 11:30. So, is it likely that perhaps this Twitter account was made around the same time as this token, or perhaps even shortly after? The door for possibilities opening. So that's why I'm like, okay, well, now I need to do research. Now I need to waste my time and actually dig into this. So let's see what Twitter says. So feel something big is coming up. Account is followed by Solana. Okay. The first tweet would either send this to Valhalla or tank it. It definitely is that scenario. It's definitely one of those things where I don't know if the account is a thing, but the token, it'll either take one tweet to send this thing to like 10 mil plus, or just nuke it to the depths of
I
Hades.
frankly don't see Solana launching a
I
meme
don't
token.
either. I don't either. But I gotta dig into it. I gotta see, like, some things are lining up. And the chart is going sideways. That's the third reason behind my need for research. The chart is going sideways. Um, and I'm like, usually if it's fake, like the chart like would just it'll go up and then it'll just crash and boom, that's it. But it's literally just going sideways since launch. For something entrenched time, for something to be going sideways, that's a fresh launch for the better part of 2 hours, I believe. 3 hours? No, not even 4 hours. It's been like 4 hours since this thing has launched. Five, and it's been going sideways. Entrenched time, 5 hours is a lot. And so a lot of times, with the quick dopamine of these, with the low, with the dopamine, the dopamine brain of some of these trenchers, 5 hours is not a lot. Whole time on Solana is not great at all. So the fact that this is going sideways, I'm like, okay, that means accumulation. That's really what that means. Accumulation. Someone is buying, not many people are selling. Um, huh. Let me see. I'm looking. I'm not seeing anything on the timeline that confirms the token as being an official part of uh whatever this account is. And then the other thing is, it literally said internet capital memes. What is this? A freaking meme. You know what I mean? So in that sense, it kind of lines up as well. But yeah, like I'm looking on that's not what I meant to do. I'm looking on Twitter, and I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything that ties this token to ties this token officially to Luminaries. Let me see. It is intriguing though. It is piquing my curiosity. That I can say for sure. Um, hmm. Yeah, I might actually just throw this on like a watch list or something, and I might throw this on a watch list and just go from there. Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to tell, guys, but that was the live research. And I wanted to dig in. I wanted to dig in on that with you guys. I don't know.
Check out the.
I'm not. Yeah, check out collab partnership with Rec. Oh,
I can throw that on the screen real quick.
yeah, toss it up.
Bing.
We
Yeah,
can
this is
go
pretty
through
cool, guys.
some major ICM stuff too.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Oh,
And I bought Luminaries, by the way. Full disclosure, I just did. Because F it.
Jeez, this guy's a DGen. Okay.
Got to, man.
Hey, dude, whatever floats your boat, brother. Rec Finance, we're excited to announce that Rec is partnering with Collat to launch a collateral coin, a utility token designed. I actually did see this. At first, I was like, oh no, they're launching another coin. But it's a collateral coin. Basically, you can just buy it on Collat, and it represents $50,000 in private sale allocation. So if you want basically private sale to their ETF, what you're going to have to do is buy the collateral coin via Collat, and you'll be able to invest in their ETF. And so the idea here is the ETF is going to start at 50,000. Ideally, it's going to generate 30 to 35% APY vested after 6 months. And with that being said, ideally, this 50,000 worth of value in collateral rises as the ETF generates yield. So that's the idea there. Pretty cool. Just expanding. Look at the bottom here, powered by ICM.run.
Nice. We love that. We love that actually.
Fire. Yeah,
let's see. Yeah, let's run through. Let me pull up multi charts real quick. Let me pull down Luminaries for now.
I will say for the market getting completely bodied, ICM niche category narrative is holding pretty well, very well.
Yeah, honestly, bro, freaking prediction markets, bro, have been like popping off. Like, I don't know if you guys saw stuff like PPW, PRDN. We talked about that one yesterday. This is the ICM.run chart. I mean, for today, everything getting bodied. We drew this support resistance out a few days ago, and it's actually been holding up pretty well. So ICM.run holding really well. By the way, I always talk about the red box, bro. I always talk about the red box. I believe it was last week we drew this red box on Viva, and I believe Viva came out with some updates. So this might even be a perfect time to cover some of that. But Viva came there. I got you. I got you with the share. Viva came out with some good updates. It's hitting the red box on the entry. They said Lander is live. App users go live soon. Then we turn on in-app ads to accelerate learning, adoption, and growth. Power to the people, power to Viva. So the clock's ticking. Viva adoption is imminent. So looks like Viva is gearing up for some crazy stuff when it comes to their app. Now, I did check out the website as well. This website was in Bolivian. I actually had to that's what it looks like in Bolivian, but I had to translate it to English. And they actually have an English one there. I just noticed that. But your crypto wallet is simple and safe. And it looks like they have like a nice website going here, and they even have the price chart for Viva as well. I really love this website. Actually, it looks pretty clean. But we talked about this the other day with them opening up the liquidity facility. They're trying to gear up with adoption, right? And I think this is just another way of doing that, dropping the website, but also dropping their crypto wallet. So that way Bolivians, can literally go from local currency to Viva and do all sorts of stuff within the app. If my memory serves me correct, you can use the app to do things like pay bills, right? Like and do all sorts of like purchases, buy and spend and all that.
Yeah, so that's the power of Viva. They've created this liquidity facility as they again, they have distribution out to the entire country of Bolivia. Like bar none, they can get every single person in Bolivia like advertise every single person in Bolivia will know about Viva sooner or later. And ideally they'll do that for Mexico, United States, whoever they expand to. But yeah, that's the perk. Right now people are using their Bob or Bolivian currency to buy phone services, transact on marketplaces, streaming services, like anything just like you buy with your local currency, they're buying with their local currency. The only issue is the market for the Bob token is terrible. It's fluctuating all the time, fluctuating more than even like a micro cap crypto token. So Viva offers a chance for them to actually spend a token that currency value that's going up and increasing, hopefully over time. And I'm sure that there'll be discounts and features for using Viva as well. So the big thing is they're going to advertise this to the entirety of Viva, starting with their current million in-app users, and allowing them to buy this. They have to have a ton of liquidity ready to on-ramp these people. So right now they're starting with $1 million in on-ramp liquidity, just to get daily $1 million of daily on-ramp liquidity just to get people onto into Viva and able to use the app, spend the token, and use crypto rails. So super interesting stuff. Yeah, it's actually a huge breakthrough if you really read through it and understand it.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of good stuff happening over there at Viva. So that's why, that's why this chart is so interesting. They're at a very like critical point, and this means a lot of adoption for Viva, and so that's why this area to buy is pretty decent, because testing the original all-time high, and we've tested this once, we broke through it, and now we're looking for the retest. And I even see like a little bit of, even you can even like draw it out like that if you want to, but that's why the box is there, you know what I mean? That's why I put the box there. So I actually might start using the box a little bit on tweets, not even just on stream, just to make sure everybody knows about the box.
Do it, man. Do the
um
box.
but that's Viva. Kled is looking really nice as well. I didn't even get a chance, but as you see, red box right there, as you see, nice little red box from before. But I think this is a really interesting area for Kled, because this is this is just a retest of the old all-time high, right? Just a retest. Um, and I think, Dom, I actually liked even the way you had the chart as
Yeah,
well
I didn't
under.
want it to bring up the big chart, just kind of keep it up here with our faces, but I can do that. Yeah, this is Cloud from a 4 hour. I think it's in a gray area. This is where it kind of stalled for a little while, reset, shook out, and then continued. So I think this is an area where people are clearly interested. But yeah,
Yeah.
again, you like your Head and Shoulders. So if you want to do in classic Head and Shoulder fashion, there you
So
are.
what I'm starting to do with Head and Shoulders, I want to keep it like on higher time frames. I think that's what I'm going to start doing, because I feel like I'm seeing a Head and Shoulders everywhere now. So I'm
Right,
like,
right.
all
Like
right, let
right
me
here, the Head and Shoulders here, the
yeah, like everything could be a Head and Shoulders. So I'm trying to keep it to more so I'm trying to keep it more so to a higher time frame, so 12-hour and daily mostly. If I see, that's the more higher confidence Head and Shoulders. So that's
But look
Kled.
who's in
What
control
else?
here. I mean, like look at this candle, look at these candles as opposed to this. Typically you see they call it the bulls take the stairs, the bears jump out the window. Interestingly
Yeah.
enough, here we actually see the bulls are just putting in massive candles, massive spreads on these candles, and then the bears are just walking it down, walking it down, walking it down. So it does feel like we're in a great accumulation zone to leg up, continue.
Bro, I love how like both of us just have a completely different way of looking at charts, but like it almost like leads to similar like conclusions. So it's just really good confluence. Like trading with you is amazing.
Let's go, dude. Hegemony's looking good.
Bitcoin. Oh yeah.
and
Hegemony
Bitcoin,
coming.
both of which.
Hegemony back in this accumulation zone. Honestly, this zone is a good, like, just good region to buy. I mean, definitely I would want to be interested in a buy somewhere, but I would want to see like what price. I would want price to develop just a little bit more on the 4 hour specifically. Like you see this kind of little zone, little support zone here. So the question is, like, it kind of broke below this one, right? Kind of broke below this support that it had. So is it going to test the one lower? It's going to test the one lower. If I would do an ideal red box, I would say anywhere. I would say
Yeah.
anywhere here. So I'm gonna draw my box, and I'll put it here. So, and I'd even treat this like a DCA, even, like over the next, let's say, couple days, and just kind of fire off a couple bids in that zone. But I'd say this is the box right here. Actually, real quick too, let me run a quick fib. Okay, with I guess depends on where you want to run the fib from, though, because fib's kind of, it's really not clean, because of all the wicks. But either way, that would be my little bid zone there for hegemony. And I know they just came out with the automated trading bot as well, right? I wonder what the TVL is on that.
Excited to showcase, guys. We are working on it. We got the deposit in. We're just like working out some kinks, and we'll be showcasing soon, hopefully.
Yeah, we'd love to. Actually, let me show you guys a tweet. There was a tweet that came out recently, as well. Let me show this to you guys. Boom. Announcement. This is just from an hour ago. The only thing I'm focused on right now is V2 of the AI trading algorithm, the upgrade I've been wanting to build for the past 2 months. Once that's in place, we'll look at announcing partnerships and gradually expanding user access to the bot. Upgrades to new gen LLMs, fluid memory with contextual awareness, dynamic stop loss optimization, adaptive hold time logic, coin specific news trading, real time indicator deltas for improved R&R. I expect the new system to come to fruition very, very soon. Okay, one thing, coin specific news trading, right? Because hegemony, like, it uses news to trade markets, right? And it puts on a long, puts on a short, depending on what the news is. Am I correct in that, Dom? I'm pretty sure.
Hmm. Wait, Chill,
Because,
did you just put out the summary for Viva? Or is Josh
huh?
working on the back end?
Oh my God, that's Josh. Oh my gosh,
I was like,
Josh.
how did you do that?
No, no, I did not do that. Yo, Josh, if you're listening, you're the freaking goat, man. You're the freaking goat. Um, but yeah, so coin, because I know there's a few of these sort of like trading bots that back end things. Shout out Josh, bro. He's a freaking legend, yo. Uh
Let's go, dude.
he said red box, folks, pay attention. Red box, folks. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, you
Not a
were
real,
saying coin specific news trading.
yeah, coin specific news trading. Um, I guess the chat just looks different from this side now, so I gotta get used to it a little bit. My bad. I didn't even see that. I didn't even see what you said, Ave. But I'll come back to that in a second. So what I like about this is coin specific news trading. I always kind of like wondered with hegemony, like, is it just going to be just like general markets, and maybe they long and short, maybe Bitcoin or whatever. But to see that maybe they'll get a little bit more specific, I think that'll open up the R&R, and that'll open up the amount of returns that users can see with the bot. So I think that'll be huge. Huge
That'd be sick.
update here. So, like Dom said, though, we'll be showcasing the bot. We'll be showcasing the usefulness of it, the performance of it, and all that good stuff. We'll put some of our own capital to work, and we'll experiment with it. But from a chart perspective, if you're interested in accumulating, getting a position, I think with that update in mind, I think this red box is a great area. Um, let me see. What else? What else? What else do we want to look
You
at?
were gonna do Fitcoin. I think ALG is looking
Bitcoin.
really good right now. You want to cover DLLM? Maybe you talked about it the other day.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Fitcoin bounced off this this flip here. You see we broke through we tested this area so many times. Here as support, here as resistance, here. We finally broke through. We tested it as support. We tested it at resistance. We broke through. Now it just looks like it's another SR flip. So I think Fitcoin here looks really nice. Let me see. DLMM. Where did I put that chart? I forgot where I put that chart. Boom. Let me just pull it up this way. DLMM. I'm really excited to see what DLMM does. And I'm actually kind of glad that it cooled off a little bit. So let me just see where this lands us on this old all-time high. Yeah, no, I don't even think I would count the old all-time high. I think these set of buyers over here aren't really associated with these buyers over here. Either way, looking good. If you were to just like roughly, I mean, we're doing charting on a micro cap, so take we got to take it for what take it with a grain of salt. But retraced, it cooled off, from all-time high. The PA isn't the cleanest, but 55% correction from all-time high off of a move that went up, let's see, 800%. That's actually very clean. Honestly, it's retraced a few times. The last time it retraced, it went down another 70%. So on an uptrend, you want to see like these washouts, these like that means early holders that got in like here, they're getting out up here, and then they're getting out here again, and they're getting out here again. So for me, it just means that as this goes up, there's not going to be this overhang of supply that's going to push price down. Profit takers have already taken profit. Here, here, and here, right? Like they've already taken profit in these areas. So it just kind of goes to show that there's not going to be a huge overhang in terms of supply from traders anyway. Let's see what else.
ALG, stay on this yield generation topic.
Yeah.
Super
So
interesting
staying
narrative.
very much so, and I think you know more about ALG if you want to cook here with it.
Yeah, we've had ALG on the show. The day we had them on the show, I bid them because I thought it was super interesting. They are an algorithm that trades Euro USD, so that's the euro against the United States dollar, and they have a 2.5 year track history and fantastic gains, trackable on Bybit. All the numbers are there, and their treasury has grown to nearly 200,000. Right, so they have a nearly $200,000 treasury, and that just didn't represent the price when it was sitting at 300K. So it makes sense that it's repriced. But growing their assets under management, their strategy works really well. I think what's so interesting about these yield generation plays, and we talked about the other day on stream, and I'm so interested to just benchmark all of them against each other so you guys know what's actually doing the best, what's the most consistent, et cetera, et cetera. But what's so interesting about these is half of the bet is on whether or not the bot and the algorithm is really good, if it's going to be able to generate good yield. And then the other half is how much assets under management can these founders raise and how quickly, right? If Hegemony can go out tomorrow and get $10 million assets under management, well, the compound effect on the flywheel is going to be massive. Just like if ALG can go get $10 million into their treasury, the compound effect is going to be massive. So it's really interesting to see these yield generating tools coming on chain and then actually, again, dispersing some of that compounding effect to holders via either dividends or via just buybacks into the token. So super interesting. And I think ALG has a really good track record. And so I think following suit to Hegemony, if Hegemony continues to do well, if DLM continues to pump, ALG should kind of be there right alongside it.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, going along with that meta, that's really nice.
You want to touch
Um,
AGOC on the similar meta?
yeah, and I think that's another one that you actually know. I think you even called this out, didn't you?
I didn't call it. I didn't like make a tweet about it or anything. We had them on the show a long time ago, so that's up like a good 10x at least. But when we had that, when we had them on the show the first time, we've had them on twice, Believe Spaces and our Spaces. The first time we had them on, they were kind of just like a general purpose AI tool, whereas like AI for this, AI for this. And then they recently pivoted to prediction markets, and they have made like he's been printing off of prediction markets. And I think now they're making a fund as well to kind of do that same strategy we just discussed. And that's why it's at 1.5 million market cap. So again, not much to add there. It's a prediction market algorithm agent that finds mispriced prediction markets and makes money off of it. So that's that.
Solid, solid. So we have that one. Let's see. One that I did want to talk about. Let me see here. Let's go to prediction markets real quick. Let's see how some of these charts have been holding up. Um, so one that you guys know that I mentioned was PRDN, and this one is actually pretty nice. This one is actually pretty nice. I'm trying to get more information on this, and who knows, maybe I'll be able to share more info. But I'm trying to get more information on like what kind of terminal they're building. But this is like where we called it out on the show yesterday, and it absolutely went nuclear, almost hit 830 mil, not mil, 830K market cap. So yeah, like looking pretty solid, looking pretty solid. I want to see what from what it sounds like, the product is almost there, and as well with the dev, he's making the product is something that's for poly market and Kalshi. So it's definitely something I want to keep an eye on. So we'll see exactly how this project plays out. But a bet here, which from the community standpoint, like the community on this is actually pretty dope. So that's where I got some of the info from. But looking good. One that I did want to share with you guys as well is, oh, by the way, Redbox hit on OK Bet. I don't know if you guys saw that. We mentioned this box. It barely hit it. So who knows? Maybe we get another touch at some point. But we hit on that red box from OK Bet. There was one that I did want to show you guys though. There was and this is a tweet that I wanted to come out with, but I've been I shared a few things on the timeline, so I haven't really been trying to share too much more. But let me get into focus mode here and share with you guys another tweet like I showed you guys the other day with PRD.
Look at this. He's front run the Twitter the chill tweet right now.
Like, I'm just sharing this with you guys,
Easy front
man.
run.
Sharing this with you guys, man. But yeah, like, so you have cities, right? And because we noticed a little something, and we'll get to this tweet in a second. But we noticed the connection between cities and OG protocol. So let's run through this full thesis. So you have the cities dev Anshul and the OG protocol dev JT Wald. They both have a history at Zynga, right? And we noticed the other day that when you look at this tweet that Dom tweeted on, and I'll even zoom out a little bit so you guys can see the full picture. You see that this is a tweet from OG Protocol. Notice the fart. This is the tweet from
How do we even sound like smart
dude,
just pointing stuff like this out?
that's what
Notice the fart.
like that's
And
exactly
notice the fart here.
that's why I'm like I just said that out loud. I can't believe I just said that out loud. But yeah, like notice the fart, right? Look at the city's tweet here. Notice the fart. What is OG protocol? It's more of like this base layer that enables other games, that enables the builders to create games on top of. And it provides this infrastructure to basically say, look, you can like plug in tokens and you can, put tokens into games, and it just be kind of like an SDK for gaming. when it comes to token integration to gaming. So you have the base layer talking about farts. You have the actual game talking about farts. So it just kind of begs the question, you know, is cities like, is there some sort of connection there? And that's exactly what I said in this draft tweet that I have. Um, they both tweeted about the Fartcoin game. OG Protocol is being incubated through ICM.run. You have the one thing I was going to add to this was the flywheel. We have the flywheel on Believe coming out. Is OG Protocol going to launch on Believe? Is it going to launch on something like MetaDAO? Is it going to launch somewhere else? So I think there are some questions around it, but definitely we can see that, the connection is there. And that's why I put in this tweet, connections, connections, connections. And
Also, if I may butt
yeah,
in, remember, Anshel was one of the OG devs for Zynga when it was being created. So they have a very good relationship in history. Actually, he confirmed on our OG Protocol show that Cities will be one of the launching with this with the OG Protocol rollout. So he confirmed it.
and so to put that all into perspective, you now have this chart here. We covered this chart first when it first was like, oops, hold on. There we go. So it covered, yeah, my deck screener was bugging out. Maybe I need to use something else? Question mark. Anywho, we call this out on the show. We call this out on the show here. But we did call it out and say, look, it's kind of hitting this resistance. So it might not be the best area to buy, but we took note of the connections and we got the dip. I actually bought up here. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I'm just like, I don't know if it's gonna go any like lower, and I don't want to risk being left behind because I don't know what's gonna happen on the OG protocol side, when announcements will be made, all that stuff. So taking all that into consideration, I just kind of bought I think here, like on like one of these dips to like, below 700K, somewhere around here. Anywho, it's now back brushing up against this 800K resistance, looking absolutely primed. And going into the OG protocol launch. So gotta say, this chart here is looking pretty good. So would want to keep an eye on this to see how it does as OG protocol launches.
Kind of think of it like a beta to OG Protocol.
Yeah, basically. Um, what else do we have? Let me see. Looking, hunting, taking note.
Scanning.
Dude, they won't give up on this Cluey token, man. Holy moly. That's generating a lot of attention. Um, do you want to talk about that or no? All right, moving on.
I don't even want to bring attention to it, bro. There's absolutely no way it's real.
Yeah.
There's zero shot, in my opinion.
Um,
But I will let you take that away.
dude, guys, look.
I don't think the Solana coin from earlier is real either.
So I'll say this. I'll even pull down the charts. Let's talk eye to eye, PFP to PFP right now, right? I have been known to love utility on the timeline. I've been like ETH utility, maxi, etc., etc. Over time, though, I've realized that I don't like maxis. I don't like being a maxi. Because if I was a Bitcoin maxi, I would have missed the ETH opportunity. If I was an ETH maxi, I would have missed the Sol opportunity. If I was a utility ETH OG maxi, I would have missed the rotation to Solana. If I was a meme coin maxi on Solana, I would have missed this whole ICM opportunity. So I think instead of being highly skewed toward one thing, I have a main focus, which is utility, which is ICM, but I keep the door open for if I do see like a little, even if it's degen, right? Even if it's degen, again, it's just about like sizing, making sure your sizing is okay. So even if it's a loss, it's not something like major, right? But um For me, I don't mind taking stabs at things because in crypto, like there's so many things that could switch overnight. You never notice the fart. Hot air will rise. Actually, we should look at that chart here in a second. But yeah, like don't just dismiss everything, man. This space is filled with new ideas, new possibilities around every single corner. And sometimes it is worth just purely fading, right? In fact, my thing is fade first. Like tons of things, I just fade unless there's a reason to look into it. So if there's a reason to look into it, it starts to open up a possibility. Maybe I want exposure to it, but I'm not going to bet the farm. I just throw some lunch money, man. Throw some lunch money at something, and just in case stuff starts to go in a direction that you might not think it will. But yeah. So when you see me like highlighting things like luminaries, for example, and I'm like, yeah, I bought small. Like I'm managing my downside risk. I'm not like betting the farm on it. You know what I mean?
He threw a coffee at it. Maybe he'll get a steak from it in the future. Maybe he won't be able
That's
to get a
it.
coffee tomorrow.
Man, through some lunch money, maybe I might have some food for the month, man. You know what I'm saying?
Or you might not be able to eat
So
tomorrow.
or that. Or I don't eat lunch tomorrow.
So
um but that's my philosophy, guys. But yeah, look, speaking of notice the fart, you you saw that from earlier. I want to actually bring out this chart. I'm actually going to be monitoring this over the next few days and weeks, and I think we covered this setup, but it retraced. It basically like front ran the bloodbath that we're seeing. I mean, there's a bloodbath happening on chain right now. Like Sol is back down closer to 210. You know, Bitcoin even dipped below 119. Right. So there's a lot of this stuff we see happening. XPL, like that was a really sweet chart. It broke out, hit $1, and now it's right back down under 75 cents. But Fartcoin, however, is still holding above this 58-cent level right here, above this 58-cent level. And as long as we can stay above this area, I'm actually pretty good. Um, as long as we stay above that area on the chart, I'm actually solid. I'm not concerned about the Fartcoin chart. What I want to see it is for this to break out of this downtrend. Once we can break out and we confirm some sort of change in structure, I'll start to get you'll see me get a little bit more vocal when it comes to Fartcoin. So
you want to know something that I haven't been paying attention to recently?
so yeah. Cool.
Yo, can you hear me, Chill?
What
I think
else?
Chill's losing connection.
I don't think
Chill,
there's anything crazy.
you hear
What's
it? You can
that?
hear me?
Cook for a sec.
GP just dropped an update as we speak. As of a minute ago, they placed a $600,000 USDC DCA on GP from the GP Treasury, so that's why it's getting this bounce. Just figured I would report that to you, but it's bounced from 45 to 63. I probably should have bid here when I was looking at the announcement live, but didn't. Could have snagged a little quick flip. But yeah, I don't know, man. GP, it's interesting. I'm not sure the direction they're really headed in, but not saying I recommend bidding, but they did just make that announcement, so
Got it.
it was worth noting. That's all I got though.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I
dude,
think
look
there's.
look at the left side.
Oh, geez,
Look at the left side of my deck screener, bro. Like
geez.
green for the most part in a terrible market.
You love to see it.
I don't know, bro. Yeah, I feel like ICM's holding up really well.
Chill. Close
But
a
I'm good to
tab.
wrap.
Chill. Close a tab. Yeah, I absolutely should. Holy
Right.
cow. Yes, I should. My goodness. Um,
His PFP is literally static on my side.
that's crazy.
Oh, there it is. It's cleared up.
Um, yeah, I think I'm good to wrap here as well. I actually had to switch to my literal phone hotspot because of the power outage
Oh,
earlier.
jeez.
So that's probably why you guys hear, if you do hear a little bit of robotic action going on in the background. Um, but yeah, I think we're good here, guys. It's been a lovely stream. We had Meta Dow on today. It was a huge stream, and I think we learned a lot. I mean, that's a completely massive undertaking that they're doing earlier. Um, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw the news. Last kind of thing to cover as we wrap. 5.1 trillion asset manager State Street says 60% of institutional investors plan to increase their allocation in Bitcoin and crypto. Could ICM projects attract institutional capital? This is the another core piece of my, sort of ICM season is the ICO boom from 2017 reimagined. Like this is real institutions, this is real equity that's being involved, this is real token holder rights, and we're again seeing interest um, from those outside of our industry. Keep on the lookout for these tweets, y'all. We're going to continue to continue to share breaking news on the MCG account. We want to, cover as many ICM related news as possible. So, as things around the as regulations change, as the SEC makes different moves, we're going to cover it on MCG. So if you want to stay tapped into everything ICM related, follow the MCG account. We have a banger lineup coming tomorrow as well. Let me share that with you guys. Tomorrow we have the stream, the Friday open stream, starting at 12:30. We'll start with DLMM. This was one of the projects we talked about today. We have Flash AI coming at 12:50. We have the do learn at 1:10, as well as the degen gain at 1:30. Um, let me get that straight. I'm sorry. Do learn,
No,
education learn. That's crazy. Okay, got it now. I think.
though, yeah, the ad is different from the name, so don't stress it, brother.
Yeah. So either way, we have ton of projects coming on. Some interesting ones coming on tomorrow. So you definitely want to tune in for that stream. And then after that, watch out for the schedule for next week. Next week is actually going to be another pretty big week as well. We got well, I'm not going to leak any guests or anything like that right now. We're still in the process of confirming a lot of these, but I can't say that, some of these look like they're actually going to, a lot of these, if not all of them, look like they're going to hit. So pretty big week next week. So stay tuned, follow the MCG account to stay up to date. Appreciate you guys tuning in today, and we will catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.